Today on Listen Up, lessons being learned in some of Canada's most emotional news events. It's all news you need to know next. Welcome to Listen Up, news that takes you deeper, delivered from a Christian perspective. I'm Lorna Dueck. Billions of Canadian tax dollars are being spent on some costly repair work. Whether here at home in the wake of Manitoba's flooding, Aboriginal reactions to their battle for emotional healing, or half a world away in Afghanistan, it's all about work that's loving your neighbor, even when the cost is enormous. Today, we're delving into those stories. It's all news with a spiritual side, which is why at the end of today's broadcast, Global National's Kevin Newman joins us. He's about to launch a new documentary that examines the Canadian church in action. It's called Hip to Be Holy. That's later, but first, one of the most soul-filled experiences in the news. Ricky Ratliff brings us this report.
I'm here at one of the overpasses at Highway 401 in Ontario. It's a 172-kilometer stretch that has now been formally dedicated as the Highway of Heroes. And on this day, Canada's busiest highway has morphed into a living, breathing memorial. One by one and two by twos, they gather for the procession of Trooper Corinne Blais as her body journeys to Toronto. No formal eulogies, no formal invites. Just ordinary citizens expressing their love and respect for a fallen fellow Canadian.
Well, I think the most wonderful thing about the phenomenon that's happened along the highway is that nobody organized it. It's not a program. I mean, it rose from Canadian people themselves as a way to express their support and appreciation to the men and women in uniform.
Captain Phil Ralph serves as a military chaplain in the Army. He says it's his faith that compels him to minister to Canada's forces, and it's his faith that sustains him on days like this one.
Actually, there are times where I haven't come, because it does get if you're serving, it gets harder. It is a hard place to come to. Some of the people, you mentioned the 117. Some of them I've met in my military career. Some of them I've seen at various places of training and various other things. The Canadian military is a very small family, and it's a wonderful family, but it's a small family.
A small family indeed, with approximately only 2,500 forces currently serving in Afghanistan. But it's got a fiercely loyal extended family that pays its respects.
My son's in Afghanistan, and a lot of the people that are coming home in this manner are his buddies and his friends. So I have to be here for him. I'm representing him to say final goodbyes to his friends and buddies and protectors. So that's why I'm here.
Is this hard for you?
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to tell you the truth, because the last time that this occurred, he was on the same run as the 4 soldiers that came home, and it just tells you how precious life is and what sacrifices that these guys are making. I had a euphoric period because it wasn't Matthew. Matthew's name wasn't called out, and I was so relieved, and then after that I just couldn't stop crying because I knew my happiness was at the expense of other people's sorrow, and that's really hard. That's really hard.
Like many of the people we spoke to, it was a story that kept repeating itself. Canadians journeying back to the bridges, time after time, soldier after fallen soldier.
What keeps you coming back?
I have to. Those people they're our soldiers. They're over there serving for their country. This is nothing, what we're doing. Absolutely nothing.
Is it getting harder for you as you keep returning?
Oh yeah, today is really hard. This is a young woman, 21 years old. She's given her life. She'll never be married, never have children. Yes, I have to be here.
For Listen Up TV, I'm Ricky Ratliff.
When Listen Up returns, we're on the edges of Canada's famous Red River Valley, some of the best farmland in Canada. We're going to find out how families keep coping when the floodwaters move in.